Yo, what's happening? John Fitch here, and we're back. I don't know, he got some minor technical difficulties with the stream, but not unusual. Yo, what is happening? Oh my goodness. Sorry, I didn't have that muted. What's up, guys? What's happening? It's a beautiful Sunday. My camera's a little off center, but whatever. I guess I'll just scooch. I'll scooch. Yeah, guys, I'm a little tired. I just got back from New York. Ooh, excuse me. Rensselaer, New York. I was at the Lion's Den doing a little seminar. It was fun. We did an hour and a half of no-gi jiu-jitsu, followed by an hour of MMA. I had fun. They seemed to really enjoy the lesson and learned a lot. But man, that 3 hour time change from going East Coast back to West Coast and whatever, it's difficult. Because if you go to bed, say normally like at 11 o'clock, say it's the normal bedtime for you. When you get to the East Coast, like it's 1 before you even feel a little bit tired. 2 o'clock is your bedtime then. Sorry, I gotta wipe my mouth. Get something sticky. And then that just throws off the rest of the sleep pattern. Then you got to get up early, and that's you get up at, say, your alarm for like 8 o'clock, and that's really like 5 in the morning, normal time. So it's out there. It's a little wild. I used to absolutely hate fighting on the East Coast because I knew I wasn't going to sleep at all the night before weigh-ins because you're dehydrated, your body doesn't want to die, and then you have that 3 hour time change. So if you're going to bed at midnight, well, now you're not going to bed till 3 on the East Coast, and that can really mess with you. So yeah, keep that in mind when if you guys ever got to compete. If you live in the West Coast and you got to compete on the East Coast, I always found it was way easier to go from east to west, even if it was a big jump, going from California out to Japan or Thailand or something. I always found it was easier to get used to the time change going east to west than vice versa. So remember that if you guys are competing. And we got an early super chat from a man, Siege D. Says, "Sub John, I pushed myself too hard on my first round of your 12-minute aerodyne cardio routine and was about to throw up. I'll get the hang of it. Don't worry. If you throw up, it's a part of it. I myself and others have often thrown up in the middle of the bike workout, run over to the garbage can, and then gotten back on the bike. It's just the way it is. I can't remember who it was. I wish I could remember who it was, but they were telling me the funny story about the first time they met me. And the first time they met me, we were in the middle of like hard training. It was maybe a Thursday. We're doing marathon rolls. We used to do 10 5-minute goes, and there were hard goes with small gloves on with the MMA focus on the grappling. And I came off the mat, jogging off the mat, over to the garbage can, threw up, projectile, hydrant style vomiting into the garbage can, and then wiped my mouth, walked over, was introduced, shook his hand, and ran back out on the mat and started grappling again. I don't particularly remember that individual instance, but I know that there have been a number of instances like that. And if you don't have any of those stories, I don't know, man. Are you really training that hard? Guys? Because I know that's happened to me on more than one occasion. And it wasn't because I was out drinking the night before or eating crazy. Although those may have played a factor in some of them that have happened, because that has happened multiple times. It's usually just pushing hard gets it done. Taz says I got KO'd my first fight. I got choked. I got RNC'd by Mike Pyle because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I had like 7 fights before I had ever sparred a single round. Before I'd ever put on headgear and big gloves and sparred with somebody, I had like 7 fights. That's pretty wild. That's old school. That's because it's just the way it was back then. That's how we got down. Yeah, man. So I was out teaching. I left Friday night, taught Saturday, was able to watch the UFC on my phone. So if I'm off with some of my comments and things throughout the fights, just remember I was watching a mini version of the fights and not a big version of the fights. So I could be a little bit off, could be. You never know. But I caught most of them. I did not get to see the bare knuckles. Right? The bare knuckles I missed. I'm gonna look to see if there are some clips from that, because I saw some popping up on my timeline, and there were some good ones. They had a record for the fastest KO. Oh, fastest. Yeah, that's the one. I'll just show you guys this. And we started off the show, guys. See what happens when you have something awesome like where Sage did. He threw the super chat up early, led off with a super chat. Boom, $5. That's already because of the video suppression I get and the demonetization I get sometimes. That's already above and beyond what I would normally make on most videos. So I don't care if I get dinged for whatever right now. So I want to show you this clip because they'll probably copyright strike me or whatever, and I won't get monetized, and then certain countries won't be able to see the video. But I don't care because I already got a $5. And when you do stuff like that, guys, when you lead strong, I can follow up strong. I can be less restricted and not care. It just takes the burden off. I shouldn't anyways, because I know they're going to do it anyways. But well, whatever. Why play that by the rules when you know they're going to make up new fake rules to punish you with? Just live, man. Just do it. No, but if you're not pushing yourself hard enough, Siege, you're never going to throw up. But that's the point. So I tell people, real cardio, okay? Real cardio does not start until you're already tired, right? It doesn't start till you're already tired. So if you're like, oh, I'm getting tired, I'm going to quit. You're far from where you need to be. There is my share screen. Fastest KO in BKF history. What is this? I'm on. Okay, this is the BKFC. Excuse me. It's the BKFC YouTube. All right. You can go to YouTube and watch some awesome fights. Where is it? Right there. Okay. Boom. Yes. This is going to be good. We have to watch it a bunch of times because it's so fast. Here we go. Bank. It's done. Bare knuckle hits different, folks. I'm gonna start it over, and we'll turn the sound on even, so you can hear the bell. I think the bell's on there. Let's go.
Ready? Knuckle up. The bell. Oh! Right hand
Yep. Yep. He went stiff. He went stiff. No mistake. That was it. That was it, guys. The bell. You can kind of hear it. Right, listen right after the bell. Okay, you'll hear the dink, and then you'll hear like a bag of wet meat hitting the wall. Listen for that sound. Ready? The bell. Hey. Ready? The bell. The bell. The bell. Oh, it's right there. The bell. The bell. The bell. Oh. Bam. That was great. That was great. Man, that's pretty cool. I kind of like the starting, the starting toes in the line. That's good. Your punching range right from the first bell. If that guy's gonna run, if that guy's gonna use maneuvers to avoid you, then you at least get one crack. You get one crack right from the beginning. Get on it. Fight Club Brazil is on. Where is that located? You got a link? Huh? Yeah, I will say you're right, James. BKFC is evolving. It's not the same Barbary as before, but it still is. It's just more refined. It's a refined Barbarianery, something like that. Whatever that word is. But yeah, they're a little bit more. It's not like Tough Man. It's not like Tough Man because you don't have the protection of the gloves on your hands to be throwing stupid and wild and bad punches. So I get some dirt on my thing here. So you have to be way more technical, way more composed, way more calculated with how you're throwing your punches, where you're landing. You're going to have to be way more conscious of head movement. I don't think you can't get away with poor head movement in BKFC. You can't fight stiff. And it's getting good, man. I'm really mad that I didn't get to see more of those fights, or I didn't see any of those fights. I know there was another. I'm gonna see if I can find out. There's another one that was like a 1-2 KO. That was pretty great. Yeah, I don't think I can fiend it. I can't fiend it. I am fiending it. I can't find it. But there was a nice 1-2 that I can't find. We'll see if I can find it just real quick. Let's see. Pops up. That's from 2 years ago. Yeah, there's a lot of 2-second ones. Not finding it. Historic night of KOs. Yeah, I'm not sure which one was. Dang, man. Come on, BKFC. Where are the things? Well, we got a big one. What? Warren and Richmond? That's going to be good. Warren and Richmond, December 21st. I think they got who else they got on that card? I think there's more good fights on that card. Yes, indeed. Perdomo and Costa, they're going to fight on the 21st of December. That's going to be glorious. That's going to be really good. Perdomo is very skilled Mike Tyson-esque bare knuckle fighter, ducking, bobbing, big punches, big hooks, uppercuts. Costa's a big man, big power. It's tough. It's like Tyson versus a juggernaut. Duran Ruffin, also Ruffin stuff. Both guys tough. Duran Ruffin, awesome. That's an awesome matchup. Oh, okay. Pizzaola and Castro, promising. Perez and Caprio, also promising. Fireworks right there. Barola and Perez, also okay. Richie and Lacaze. It's like Lacaze or Lacaze? Lacaze. Lacaze, one of them skinny guys. They can turn his hips and turn his shoulders. And this guy's crack. Like big crack, whack. Tommy Hearns status. One of the guys that doesn't look like he's a big time fighter, doesn't have like huge shoulders or nothing. Looks kind of skinny, but he'll pop you. He'll pop you good. That'll be good. Bloom, Walker. This is a great card. This is a great end of the year card for bare knuckle BKFC. Carvalho, Fuentes on the undercard. Peralta. Okay. Hamasi. First time for Hamasi out there. Gonna be some good ones. Gonna be some good fights on that BKFC. So I'm excited about that. That'll be good. Thudland 99, Projectile Vomit Club. Indeed. How did he not break his hand? Must have landed. I mean, if he got the knockout that clean, that quick, he must have hit, a good place. Jaw, maybe behind the ear. Like those are generally places that'll get that quick KO. Like, so I think that you're less likely. You hit somebody in the jaw, you're less likely, or behind the ear, you're less likely to hurt your hand. Still gonna hurt because you're hitting something, but it's not the same as hitting a bone on bone. If you would have hit the top of the head, probably would have knocked the guy out. Not that fast, because the guy stiffened up. It wasn't just like a flash thing the ref jumped into. You saw him roll. His legs were locked. He was locked up for at least half a second there. That was a good stoppage. The ref was on his toes. That was good. No problems with that. MMA expert says, why name John Fitch knows nothing? 40 fight vet, top promotions, fought a goat. You know plenty, John. Well, that's my right? That's my what do you call it? My safety net. You can't blame me if I get anything wrong. You can't get mad at me for saying something because I don't know nothing. I'm just saying right out. It's my disclaimer, something like that. But off the jump, I'm letting you know I don't know shit. I'm just talking. All right, guys. I'm honest. I'll tell you the truth the best I can. Doesn't mean right. So just be careful. Do your own research. Oh, I had to carb up today after the long trip, so I got some pizza, a couple beers, washed the pizzas down with. What is happening? All right. Update on uke skills. Floodland. I have my ukulele out. I've been looking at it, and I've had the screen on my the tab on my uh, laptop open for months to hit the subscription button to Ukulele Underground. Right, Ukulele Underground. I was on it for like a year once before, and they got so many songs and so much like practice material on there. It's so worth it. If you can spend an hour a day, you're more than get your money's worth, and you can improve your playing. I just haven't hit the go. I haven't hit the go. I need to make myself. Maybe this week I'll have the excuse. I just did a seminar, so I got paid. Christmas is coming up. Bitcoin at $100,000, right? We got to do this right here for that. Bitcoin, $100,000, guys. It did it this week. I haven't been talking much about it, right? Since it's been going on, but we knew it was coming. We called it years ago. It's been about 10 years, probably 10 years, at least 10 years that I've been on this road. I bought into the Bitcoin revolution 10 years ago. I bought half a coin to start off with. I bought half a coin, and that half a coin was under $300. It was probably like $250, $250, $260, somewhere in there. I want to say 264, but I could be wrong. But it's in that range of 250 to less than 300. But I want to say 264, I think. And then a little bit later, I bought another half of Bitcoin. That was ages ago. I've lost more Bitcoin and Ethereum than most people will ever hope to own, because I was basically gambling. I was basically gambling with shit coins and helicopter money dreams and fantasies. But we don't know it. We don't know, man. The helicopter dreams may still be in play because we hit 100,000. What if the crazy thinking that some of these guys are talking, the $250,000 coin, the $1 million coin. Isn't Michael Saylor saying some stuff like he thinks it's going to be like a $10 million coin? What would that be like? Oh my goodness. I would definitely be able to start my own bare knuckle soccer kick, knee to the head on the ground, headbutt fight promotion. I could do it, and I could pay well. Because the guys are probably going to have short careers. Stellar Lumens for the win. I think Bitcoin is the one. Bitcoin's the one. It's the only one. It's the one people should focus on. The shit coins are eventually probably all going to zero. But it doesn't mean you can't get rich. Doesn't mean you can't make money off of them. So if you do play your cards right, you do have some insider knowledge, then I'm not going to tell you no. I'm not going to do it because I don't think it's worth that much. Unless it's throwaway money that, you stop drinking for a month, right? We're in a bull cycle right now. There's opportunities abound. You stop drinking and you spend the money that you would normally drink on some gambling type investment. You pick a meme coin. You pick something silly that might shoot up, right? I got like $5 in Doge. That I think is acceptable, because if Elon Musk keeps tweeting about it and they actually make the Department of Government, what is it? Government, whatever. Government something. To make sure that it's running well. Help me out, chat. What is the E? Why am I drawing a blank on that word? Efficiency. There we go. My brain was not being efficient. if Trump actually makes the Department of Government Efficiency, so you've got the government Doge and the coin, and Elon tweeting about it. Maybe, who knows? But yeah, that's. I'm sorry, guys. That's kind of retarded. These guys are talking about government's too big. We got to cut back on government. We need something to make sure government's efficient. So what do? We make government bigger. Let's make government bigger and add another agency. Right? They're talking about, we're going to shut down the CIA and the FBI and all these other agencies, and we're going to create a new one to do it. It's all going to get tied up in bureaucracy and arguments and people trying to justify their job, and there'll be some scalps. I guarantee there'll be some scalps, but overall, it's just window dressing. I don't think anything good's going to come of it, because it's out in 4 years, and now you've created a new entity in the government. It's going to cost more money and have more jobs, and you're going to have the Doge czar running things. It's just going to be another expense, guys. Wake up. Just turn Ron Paul loose. Just let Ron Paul run wild. Right? And he just, this program's cut. This program's cut. This program's cut. Just do that. We don't need a Doge. We got a Doge department. We have a Ron Paul, the executioner, the government waste executioner. Let's let Ron Paul run wild. People often ask me, John, what radicalized you? And I tell them, the kindest, gentlest man did. Ron Paul. Ron Paul. And around 2010, I started listening to Ron Paul and talking to people about Ron Paul and the things he was spitting. Right? I got warmed up. I got loosened up by all the misdeeds and lies by Obama. But yeah, that opened the door. Obama's treachery opened me up to Ron Paul. And then I owe Ron Paul because I bought Bitcoin because he was talking about. All right. Fights. How many of you guys watch fights? You guys watch the fight? UFC 310. I missed the very first one. I missed Bresky and Nizuchukwu. 14-5. Nizuchukwu is a monster. He's a big guy, big long guy. He got a first round KO. Clay Guida, you hate to see Clay Guida lose. He's been doing it for such a very long time. He's got more UFC losses than most top guys will have in fights total. Chase Hooper looked really good though. He looked way more polished, and it's crazy that he started fighting like 5 years ago or something, right? He's had 10 UFC fights, I think. He's been doing this a little bit now. That's kind of wild. I thought he was still a baby. I mean, he still is a baby, but time's been flying, man. Time's really been flying. But he looked way more polished. His stand up, he looked more comfortable on his feet. Clay was not having a good time getting in. It posed a lot of problems for Clay because the stand up had gotten so refined that it was too difficult for Clay to deal with. He couldn't get inside. And when he got inside, he had to grapple with him, and Chase's grappling is pretty dang good. He hit the sub on the Guides. Don't know how many more fights Clay Guida has in him. He's on like a 3-fight skid right now. So we'll see if he hangs it up, or I don't know. I feel like they do a big send-off if he actually retired. So I think he'd probably tell him ahead of time, maybe. I don't know what I'm thinking. Oh, man, that guy. Monster. Workhorse. Chesia and Griffith. Chesia looked really good, too. He was polished. Grappling was good. Griffin had power, but Chesia was able to get inside and manhandle him pretty much with the grappling. Subs him first half of round 3. Durden and Joshua Van. This was a great fight. These guys threw down. Were beating each other up pretty good. And Joshua Van's tough, man. Joshua Van down by the river. Watch out. And then Chris Weidman and Eric Anders. Eric Anders looked like a monster. Right? I don't know. Did he miss weight? Or this was a catch weight? Did it catch weight between these two? But Anders looked like a monster, and he kind of started wearing on Weidman in that fight. And started beating him up, throwing him around, took him down, was ground and pounding him from top. Like roll reverse on that. He looked good. Anders looked good. That was the early prelims. What kind of pizza? Sausage. We got a nice spot around the corner. Sausage, cheese, and some wangs. Yum. Good stuff. Let's go. This was supposed to be the card where we watched Diaz and Luke fight, but that didn't happen. That did not materialize because Nick is dealing with whatever things he's dealing with right now. There was potentially a video of him lighting some grass on fire outside with his shirt off. Kind of looked like him. I thought it was him, but some people said it's not him, so I don't know. I don't know nothing. Fight didn't materialize, unfortunately. Or fortunately, because maybe Nick shouldn't be fighting. That could be a thing. Welterweight fight, Brian Battle and Randy Brown. So this was a tough one. Brian Battle has been doing really well, and he's been fun to watch. He's been staying really active, which is good when you can get into a groove and be active and win fights. You kind of got to do it, right? Especially if your game has been rounded out pretty well. Battle's been doing pretty good in these fights, but I gotta say, I don't know if he won that fight. I don't know. You guys tell me what you thought between Randy and Battle. BD Randy Brown. And Battle got the nod. There was some boos. But Brown just looked like he was landing with way more power. Maybe it was more frequency from Battle, but Randy Brown looked like he was when he landed, it cracked. So that's why I was kind of leaning towards him a little bit. I don't know. I was watching on a tiny screen. So mistakes could have been made. The fight with Evlov and Sterling, a lot of grappling heavy in that fight, but I don't care. It was a good fight. It was a fight to fight. What has to happen in the fight for someone to win or lose, that's just what happens. Okay? If you don't like that, you're not actually a fan of MMA. You're not. So if you can't be as entertained by a fight where one or two punches is thrown and there's a lot of heavy grappling as you are with guys just throwing blindly in the center, it's not your sport. Go somewhere else, please. We're tired of listening to you complain. But Evlov got the nod. But it was kind of a coin toss for me, I think. because there was a lot of control going on there, but I don't know. Again, watched it on a tiny screen, but I don't know if it was like, oh wow, Evlov dominated him. I don't know if I felt like that. I think there was enough that happened from both guys. That was a fairly contested fight. It was pretty close. Did I view that wrong? Am I seeing that wrong? Oh, Pat Yo battle missed weight by 4 pounds. Wow. Okay, that's not good. So he might have lost that fight. It was close. Might have lost that fight, and he had an extra weight advantage. 4 pounds. That's a lot. I don't know, man. It's kind of crap, especially if you knew ahead of time. It can be a huge advantage. If you knew like the night before, it's like, I'm not gonna make weight. Screw it. And then you let your opponent struggle and cut weight, and he makes weight. You're like, yeah, whatever. I'm not making weight. Missed by 5 pounds, 6 pounds. Wow. Excuse me. Luque, Thimba, Gorimbo. They've been pushing this Gorimbo. Luque put him to sleep. I did not catch this fight. 1 minute, 52 seconds. It was a quick fight, but I fell asleep, right? Because my sleep was messed up out there on the East Coast, and I taught, and I was laying in bed watching this, and I just kind of fell asleep. I fell asleep for like 15 minutes. 15 minutes was enough to do introductions, have the fight, and start the next round of intros for the Reyes-Smith fight. So yeah, but it looked like Luque hit a really nice, I don't know if it was a Darce or an Anaconda. This way or that way. Excuse me. But Reyes and Smith. So like Reyes, arguably, some people really think he beat John Jones. It looks kind of like he did. Like if it was anybody but John Jones with that performance against Jones, like he would have won. It landed a lot of punches. Did a great job of that fight. I don't know. I'd have to watch it again. I remember that was a big stink. A lot of people talked about that at the time, saying that Reyes definitely won the fight. Either way, it doesn't matter because the only thing that matters is the record at the end of the day on his scorecard, right? So still lost. But Smith, I mean, I've said for a while here, Smith looks like he's been done for a while. And everybody's kind of saying now this time he lost somebody in his camp. He lost somebody close to him. And I don't know. I just don't think his performance levels have been up for a while. He did have a big win not long ago. I can't remember what fight that was. But he did have a big fight. He had a submission finish or something like that. But a lot of his other fights have not gone well. He's been getting punched often. He's been a little bit of a punching bag. And because of that, yeah, I think he needs to be letting go. You know, I don't think he's going to be anywhere around title contention again. I don't think he can move up in weight or down in weight with success. He's already got a cushy job as a suit. Might as well just shift over to that, I think. But Reyes looked good, but it's hard to determine where he goes from here or where he matches up, or, you know, does he get a fight with Pereira soon? Or does he need another dust up? He need another polishing fight to get himself ready for that fight. I don't know. You guys tell me. How good did he look in that fight? Good enough? to be close to a title shot. And then where's he been? Where's he been? Like, where did he lose last? When did he lose last? Was that the last loss? He's got 4 losses. He had injuries. He had a knee injury or something. I was. So, yeah, he lost to Ryan Spann. He got KO'd by Ryan Spann last year. Okay, so he lost to Jiri 2021. Lost to Blachowicz. Lost to Jones. Man, okay. So he's been on a 4-fight skid until he finally got a win. All right, yeah. And then he had a good fight against Smith, which, no disrespect, but isn't saying a ton because Smith has kind of been done for a little bit, I think. So I don't know. They need some they need some new blood. I think at 205 mix things up to give Pereira a good fight. Vanguard, are you talking about Reyes or Smith? Vanguard saying on paper he still has a lot of fight in him. He's lost to some pretty big names by KO. That's not great. Maybe the chin is suspect. Just getting touched up too much. Main card. Let's see. Landwehr and Choi Duho. Duho is just popping. He's cracking this whole fight. Landwehr's tough, but a little open and loose, and Choi took advantage of that. Took him down, beat him up on the ground, beat him up on the feet. He looked really good throughout the fight and ended up getting a KO in the third round. Landwehr had his moments. He was landing some punches here and there, but Choi was just too much. Oh, I get you, Vanguard. He's saying Smith. It's an inside joke because Smith is an analyst and he always says on paper, this guy should win. On paper, he's got some more fights in him. I got you now. I don't really listen to any of those guys. So I don't know what they say. I try to turn the volume down. That was one nice thing about listening or watching the fights on the phone was that I could turn the volume down. And I had the other TV on. I had that TV up. So I had a movie in the background I could listen to while I watched the fights. It was much more pleasant. Much more pleasant. James is saying the light heavyweight's the weakest he's seen it. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. We got Blachowicz, Jiri, but they all have losses, don't they? There's no like up and coming big guy like, oh, this is the next big guy. There's guys that have kind of been around, won and lost, been in the mix. So there's less of a buzz about it, I think, when that's happening. Unless one of them goes on a tear and really starts just smashing people, it's going to be hard to get people hyped up, especially because Pereira has all the hype. All right. Bryce Mitchell and Kron Gracie. This is a fun fight. This is actually fun. But at the same time, I didn't quite get it, right? Kron's 5-3. Like, he hasn't looked great in a lot of his fights. I don't know how he got in to this fight where they just wanted to give Bryce. They needed to give Bryce a fight that was winnable or would look good because Bryce got knocked out really bad his last fight, didn't he? I think we can check real quick. Yeah, he lost to Josh Emmett last year. Lost by submission to Tapuria the year before. He beat Feely. No, he beat Feely and Charles Rosa, 2020. So, had a little bit of a slide, knockout and a submission loss. And I think they like him as a personality. People tune in to listen to his flat earth theories and stuff. So they found a really good matchup for him, because that's wild. Because I think, he's just skating in on his Gracie name. He has no fights in the UFC, and he gets in on a main card. That's wild, I guess. But I don't understand, and no disrespect, but I don't understand how he's been fighting this long, and he's fought at these highly elevated, fights on these cards and stuff, and he still hasn't figured out a way to bridge the gap between striking and his grappling. Like, he hasn't developed his wrestling, even his clinch game or foot sweeps, whatever, hasn't really been developed, and his striking is no smoother than it was a long time ago. First time I saw him fight in Bellator. So he's doesn't seem to be making a lot of improvements. You'd think you'd be able to just focus, because his jiu-jitsu game's high level. He put Mitchell in some precarious positions. He had potential to win and finish that fight. So why isn't the other stuff developing more? You'd think he'd have a lot more time to put into just the striking and closing the distance and getting the takedowns, because he put himself in the really bad position in this fight by pulling guard. That's why Mitchell was able to slam him the way he did with such power. If he doesn't jump up to guard while standing, Bryce doesn't have the opportunity to slam him like that. It was wild. Put the forearm on his chin and boom, smashed him into the mat. Savage performance by Bryce Mitchell. Gan and Volkov. This was an okay fight. But again, this was much like the battle fight, where I don't know if I agree with the decision. Gain did some nice wrestling, mixed things up, but I kind of felt like Volkov was the guy doing more to finish the fight. He was doing more to move the fight along to a finish, right? And that's what we're supposed to weigh more points to in MMA and the unified rules. I think Volkov was the guy. I think he should have got the nod. Also, these guys had fought before and for 5 rounds. That's weird. Like, I think making guys rematch for a non-title or, a fight that's not a title eliminator, I think it's kind of dumb. And especially taking them from like a main event or a co-main event where they fought 5 rounds to a 3-round fight. It's kind of lazy matchmaking. It feels lazy. Just put those heavyweights together. These guys both been discarded. Is that why they don't care about their career path at this point? Or is it supposed to be a gimme for Gain? Because you already beat him once. Let's guarantee him a shorter fight. I don't know. That was weird. What was the allure? You guys know what was the allure of that fight? Why do they need to make that happen? MMA holes. Did you have you ever tried horse meat? Yes. I was in Japan. We went to this bar and they served little appetizers, and it wasn't just horse meat, it was raw horse meat. It was like sushi style horse meat. My friend Fumi said, eat, 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 eat. I said, what is it? He's like, eat, 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 eat. I said, okay. So I ate it. And I said, oh, it's pretty good. What is it? He's like, oh, horse meat. I was like, oh, wow. All right. Just ate Mr. Ed. But it was good. I can't complain. I probably might not have eaten it if he told me ahead of time. But now that I did, Shavkat might have a point. Horse meat may be the best meat. Yeah, Bryce got a gimme after Emmett KO'd him. Yeah, he got KO'd bad. He was out hard, that KO. It was kind of scary. Charlie Kennedy, I don't know what I believe in, right? The COVID opened my eyes to a lot of things, and one of them is the popular narrative, the government-funded narrative. Sometimes, often is a lie. So what do I really know? All I know is I know the scientific method, and I know how to use the scientific method to come up with my own rules, my own beliefs. So if I can't or haven't proven something on my own, it's just an interesting theory. It's an interesting theory. I'll have to contemplate it further. Like just saying something and believing in something because someone else told you without justifying it or without backing it up, without what's the word for it? Validating, verifying it. Yeah, you got to verify it. Believing it, right? Verify, don't trust. So if I can't verify it on my own, then it's interesting. Interesting theory. Could be true. Could not be. Maybe who knows? Maybe. I don't have any proof that the world is flat or it's not flat. I don't have any proof and evidence that the world is round. I have some working theories why I lean towards round, but I don't know. And that's just because of I've been different places on the planet, and I learned astrology. Not astrology. Is it astrology? What is it? Just the stars. I learned the stars, not the Gemini whatever stuff. Not that stuff. Astronomy. Astrology. I learned astrology. Yeah, and we had a really great class in our high school. We had a planetarium, right? So it had all the lines, all the lights had a dome, so you could see the North American constellations, right? Kids from other schools used to come to on field trips to our school to view that stuff and watch that stuff. So we were kind of spoiled with that. It was awesome. It was a great class. So I learned a lot about the constellations, and I knew probably about 10 of them pretty well. I could pick them all out easily. Not so much now. But California is also a lot of light pollution. I don't think you see all of them. But you can see how, like, different places on the country, because going to college and wrestling and traveling to different places to wrestle, you could see slight changes. Oh, Orion's here now. We're here. It's a little bit over here. So you could see how that shifted a little bit. But then I also fought in Australia. I fought in Brazil. I did a USO tour thing in Germany, and I was in England, before, to London. So I've been to different places. I've been to Canada. So I've been to different places, different heights, different parts of the alleged globe. And I've seen the constellations change and be different. But I don't have a theory for that, which makes me not think flat, because if it was flat, you'd think no matter where you went on that flat surface, you would see the constellations similarly in the sky. if that makes sense. But I didn't. So I don't think flat. I'm leaning towards something more roundish, or at least um, the stars move differently or have some kind of weird thing in the sky. That's all I got. Astronomy. Okay, astronomy, not astrology. Astrology is my Venus is in retrograde or something like that. That'd be funny if a high school offered astrology. Be some hippie chick in there. It's like talking about your moon sign or something. All right, where we at? Yeah, here we go. Shavkat. We got 2 more fights. We're running long, but whatever. I'm having fun. Shavkat Rakhmonov. Rakhmonov. And I am Machado Gary. This fight was underwhelming. I got to say it. It's a little bit underwhelming. I felt like Ian Gary was very defensive and was fighting mostly to not get finished. Like he was fighting not to get beat up. I don't think he engaged very much and he didn't throw very much. He did very good defensive wrestling, and he even turned his defensive wrestling into an offensive opportunity where he took his back. And I think that was, the highlight for him of that fight was getting to Rakhmonov's back, was unable to do anything really tangible with it, made attempts at choking him. Rakhmonov just kind of waited it out. Finally got out. Both these guys are long. You can see how that's going to be trouble to deal with. And then Savkat, I feel like he could have pulled the trigger way more. He was pushing the fight. If he wasn't pushing the fight, nothing would have happened, I think. But I think more output. I think he definitely could have had more output. Well, when punches were landed, they were usually landing from Rakhmonov, and they were landing with more power from Rakhmonov. But I don't know if he was just giving way too much respect to Gary, or Gary's kind of defensive strategy or play towards the fight was throwing him off. Maybe he's used to guys coming at him a little bit more. They have trained together, so that may have given Gary a look into some of the intangibles that go into fighting somebody new. Strength, speed, flexibility, length. So those things can be a surprise sometime when you're meeting somebody for the first time, and it can be overwhelming for some people. But Gary might have had time to adjust and realize, yeah, I know he's strong in this position. I know this is what's going to happen in this position. So, boy, yeah, we talked about Sterling and Evlov already. Yeah, I noticed that too, Sailboy. I didn't. He looked like he was kind of passively punching into the clinch and then trying to get an easy takedown from the clinch. And Gary was good at defending that, and he was hard to take down from there. But when Shavkat actually said, "You know what? Screw this. I'm just going to pick him up and throw him down." He shot in on the legs. He got low. Kind of had a way easier time getting to the position he wanted to and getting the takedown. And, I think, yeah, you're right. I think we definitely could have seen a much different fight if Rakhmonov would have started with that approach. Punches, heavy punches, combos into the shot, into the low attack to the legs. I think that could have really put the ball in his court a lot more from that fight, and we would have seen a different outcome, maybe another finish. I don't know. Maybe he gave way too much respect, just way too much respect to Gary. Ooh, got a comment in the Rockfin. It says, put a picture of a finger pointing towards you on the ceiling, walk to the other side of the room, and now the finger is pointing away, just like the stars. I mean, these stars are supposed to be so far away, though. Like you'd have to be really close for that. You know, you have to be really close. Like, put your finger on a picture of your finger on the moon. You know, that many miles away, pointing at you, and then walk to the other side of the room. It's still pointing at you. The finger's so far away. So that's the thing is, if you got a way to accurately measure how far the stars are away, if they're not light years away, which seems to be a whole lot, right? Because the sun is a star, right? And if I walk from one side of the field to the other side of the field, the sun's kind of still in the same place, pretty much still in the same place, right? So the other stars are much further away. I don't think that's a good explanation. Thanks for the comment, though. Excuse me. Not really, James. I think Jeff he stays at range a little bit more. It seems like he stays at range and fights the clinch, or in this case, took takedowns late. But I don't know. He stayed outside a lot more. I thought we would have seen more of him pulling the trigger, but I think maybe he's just confident in the body lock takedowns and stuck to those too long. Excuse me. I'm coughing, you guys. You guys in the chat, do me a favor, make sure you guys are hitting the like button. Right. Oh, you raised by gypsies. Says stars, sun and moon are much closer than we are told. Can't you figure that out? Don't you have telescopes? Isn't there a way to measure? Isn't there a way for you to personally measure it? Not saying that's wrong. I just seem like it seems like there's got to be a way for somebody to measure. Nobody has a theory or a tool to measure. Engineers haven't figured out a way to do that. Last fight. Pantoja and Asakura. Asakura is good. He's explosive. Got some pop. One problem we've had often with Japanese fighters is that they always seem to come in undersized. Am I wrong? Am I wrong in that? Right? Like they often aren't maybe as good at cutting weight. I don't know if that's what the deal is. But sometimes the Japanese fighters do seem like they're actually a weight class too high and they should be lower, but they don't have the skill or the knowledge of cutting weight the same, which I think should be changed by now because Japan does have pretty dang good freestyle wrestling. They had some gold medalists, I believe, this last year, and those guys aren't undersized, you know. But it's kind of another weird fight, another weird matchup thing. You know, the guys win championships other places, but the first UFC fight, they give him a title shot, and that hardly ever really happens. So I don't understand the strategy here because usually it's they don't want somebody from the outside coming in and making it look like there there's competition out there in the world. So I feel like they either knew for sure that Sakura probably wasn't gonna win this fight, like statistically low probability of him winning this fight, or maybe they don't. Maybe they don't. Are they unhappy with Pantoja somehow? Am I missing something behind the scenes? They don't. They don't like him. I'm sure they got Sakura for crazy, crazy amount of fights. Sign him for like 8 fights, probably, or something like that. Now they got him. They'll run him through the gauntlet and make him fight just a bunch of killers. Try to get him beat up. Prove their title dominance. Something on those lines. What do you guys think? Yeah, Pantoja. I mean, he kind of handled the fight, start to finish. Kind of didn't look terribly to go right, but Charlie, how much me and Kasha cutting back in the day? Um, I can't say for him, but I would generally be walking around at about 187 to 192 pounds. I was right around in there during fight camp. And then depending on what time in my career, like I figured out the weight cut and the diet, nutrition stuff way more towards the end. But coming in fight week, anywhere from 178 to 185, depending on what time in the career I was coming in at. Earlier in the career, I was cutting more water weight. So I like the way I was doing things later on in the career. It was a lot easier to make weight. I just had to be more disciplined with my diet throughout the training camp. I still do train. I teach over at Claudia Franca Jiu-Jitsu here in San Jose. I got a couple. I got a wrestling class on Fridays, and I got a jiu-jitsu class, gi jiu-jitsu class on Wednesdays, and I do a couple of fitness classes there. So I'll roll on those class days and work out a little bit. I also bring my sons to the kids class on Tuesdays, and I'll jump into the no-gi class and get some rolls in. But not a ton of training. I don't get much sparring in. I helped Todd Duffy when he was getting ready for his bare knuckle fight. I jumped in down at AKA and did some sparring with him. But good stuff. And yeah, I don't get to see Cost much at all. And I don't talk to many people at all these days. I'm busy. I'm busy with life, and they are too. There's no like negative reason why not to talk. It's just I think Cost is over on the East Coast. And yeah, just people get busy, man. It's life. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I don't believe that though. Raised by Gypsies in the Rockton chat is saying that they can triangulate the distances for the moon and the sun, but there are moving objects, so you can't do that. But they're not moving that fast. I feel like if I'm on the land and there's a ship going across the water on the ocean, I should be able to triangulate the distance of that ship, even though it's moving, especially if it's moving steadily. I should be able to triangulate it within some accuracy. How else to rockets and missiles and mortars? How does that work? Right? You're not like, yup, it's moving, the boat's moving, we can't shoot at it right now. I don't buy that either. And again, I'm just trying to go by what I can deduce from my own knowledge, not taking it from anybody else. All right, so we got UFC on ESPN coming up. This is actually going to be good, I think. Colby Covington and Buckley. Buckley's been doing really good lately at 170. He's on a tear. He's trying to make noise with his social media and other stuff, which it sucks, but that's what these guys have to do these days. Winning isn't enough. You got to have a story and a personality on the lines. If you're not on the lines, your Q score is not going to be up. And then they're not going to want to give you the nod if your Q score is not up. Cub Swanson coming back again. Another old timer getting after it. Always rooting for Cub. Fighting Billy Quarantillo, who's a big hitter, tough kid. We'll see how that pairs out. That should be a good fight, though. Manel Cap and Bruno Silva, Petrino and Jacoby, Yanez, Marcos, Sterling took us. There's some fights that could be pretty good on this card. Michael Johnson and Ottoman Azatar. Okay. Some smaller guys fighting, but there's some tough fights. I think this should be good card. What is this? The December 14th next week. I'll be tuning in. I don't know if there's a bare knuckle next week. I'm going to search it up. No, it's December 21st. That's the Warren and Richmond we talked about earlier. That's right. So we'll have a little bit of a break from the bare knuckles. I don't know if there's anything going on with PFL or Bellator. They've been yeah. What was I saying? I forgot. Yeah, we got a couple weeks before the next bare knuckle fight. We'll have the Bellator and PFL. I don't know I don't know if they got something going on, if they got their finals tournament thing coming up. A lot of guys are unhappy. They're not getting fights. They're not staying busy. I guess it's ugly. It's really ugly. These guys are making money. They can't compete. They can't get things done. One championship is hardly putting on any fights. Like the UFC monopoly is thick and restrictive as ever. And a lot of fighters are just not eating. They can't eat because there's not enough work for them. There needs to be a fix. We need a fix. We need the Johnson case to really kick off and make some things happen. I think every promotion besides UFC is close to closing the doors. Nobody's really that profitable. You know, none of the big entities anyways. There might be some smaller shows that are able to do a small number of fights per year, but for the most part, it's So it happens, man. When you have a monopoly, everything else kind of dies out. Everything else gets choked out. Monopolies are inherently evil. They are. They are. Sorry. It's just the way it is. Commentating, yep, James. I enjoyed the commentating. That was a fun gig. Hopefully, I'll get some more chances to get behind the mic and watch some fights. I enjoyed myself. They put on the Cage Aggression puts on really good. They do like 2 shows a year. They put on a really good event. Some tough fighters that really put it all out there, and I had a lot of fun. They do a cool thing in the weigh-ins, right after the weigh-ins. They have a little room where guys can go and they get IVs. They can get hydrated through IVs to make sure everybody's good to go and hydrated and ready to fight the next day. I think that's super cool. I think most these promotions need to get behind that and start giving some treatment to make sure everybody's healthy. You know, you want a good product, you want to make money, you want to get eyeballs on what you're selling, then you should have your fighters at their peak, at their best. So why not, you know, it's a small expense. Why not get them all IV'd up and hydrated after the weigh-in event? Sounds like a no-brainer. They do that. They do a good job. And I think that might have a lot to do with how the fighters are performing at the fight. So good on you guys. Caged Aggression, good work. If you guys want, you can Google, you can look up, it's on YouTube, the Caged Aggression 38. I think it's night 2 that I was commenting on. You can see me and Jason Burmis talking and commenting on the fights. You guys can check that out. Tell me what you think. Let me know if I did an awful job, like I always say about everybody else. Except Chris Lytle. Chris Lytle does a great job. Yeah, and a lot of the big businesses pay the government to add regulations to restrict the smaller competition. You're right there, Charlie. It's only some places they do that, Charlie. Some places, some states, and that's a state by state thing with athletic commissions, not letting them use IVs. You're just trying to, because I think it's a matter of haves and have-nots. If not everybody can access them because they don't have enough money or don't have the know how to do it or get it, they don't want guys to have unfair advantages. That's why it's a good idea for the promoter to provide them for everybody, because then everybody has the option to get one if you want it. Matua, depending on the age, but like, yeah, gymnastics is always great, I think, for any kid to start with. Just learning tumbling, learning how to do front rolls and back rolls and a handstand and push-ups, hold on to rings, all that stuff I think is really good just for kinesthetic awareness, getting your body strong, getting used to using your body. You having them on balance beams and stuff like that. I think it's all good. It's all good. So I think it's a good thing. One thing you can help to prepare your kid if you wanted to wrestle is wrestle with them. Just roughhouse, play fight. So it becomes a fun thing. You know, can you take me down? Can you snap my head down? Little things like that. Can you get away? Little games like that from them, so that they just get comfortable with the game and they start having fun with the game altogether before they even get into learning techniques, right? Just get them into playing around with play fighting. I think that's a good thing. I read some articles talking about how beneficial it is to roughhouse with your kids, how it's really good for boundary setting and trusting, building trust, and building the boundaries, you know, because like they pull your hair, they pinch you, and you're like, no, that's That's too much. Let's dial it back. We don't want to hurt each other. We're just playing. Building trust by throwing them up in the air and catching them. Gymnastics are all just superstition. What? That's never heard that before. But yeah, but live gymnastics is kinesthetic awareness, learning where your body is in relation to itself and the world around it. You know, what happens when I fall forward? How do I catch myself? How do I roll and come back up? Those things are all, I think, good for overall better sports performance. I think just better life, because like if you don't learn how to like fall, you're not comfortable like picking yourself up from the ground from a young age. Like that's how like people fall down and break their hips, and they fall and they break their arms when they're older because they didn't learn how to use their body. They didn't properly learn how to use their body. So okay, just kidding. That makes sense. All right, guys. Trump, yeah, I don't know if Trump just got elected, so I don't know if he's going to go to any more UFC events. He might be too busy. I don't know. I haven't heard about it. Pettis has a show in Milwaukee. I don't know about his show. There's a number of guys who have been trying to be putting on shows. Gamebred has the bare knuckle MMA, and I don't know, man. If you can't sell that, I don't understand. That seems like no brainer. People are gonna tune in to watch because he's had some pretty big names too do it. I don't know if he needs to make it even more of a gimmick, change the times up or something, make it 5 3-minute rounds instead of the 3 5s. I don't know, or just do 1 15-minute. Like, I would do something like that. Let's do 1 15-minute round, bare knuckle MMA, soccer kicks, knees to head on the ground, headbutts. Let's get it done. Championship fights can be 20 minutes. I think that would be good. I think that would be real good. Or we go like a 30-minute championship. What do you think? I don't know. It's a draw or it's a win. You got to finish. You got to finish for the win. I think that would be good. Rule set. Yep. Mike Perry and the Dirty Boxing. The Brandons need to fight each other again. Lightweight, flyweight division. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not. I don't get super excited about the fun size fights. So if I see the same guys fighting each other too much, that loses a lot of interest for me. Excuse me. I'm a weight class snob. I like the bigger weight classes. All right, guys. I've been running too long here. Hope you guys had a good time. I had fun talking to you. The fights were not bad. Not bad at all. Not complaining. There's some good ones. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. We'll be back. Yeah, I'll be back next week. I got a seminar on Friday down south at Pugilist Gym. It's going to be a Friday night seminar. Should be cool. I'll be back up here, though, in time to watch fights and talk to you guys. All right. Thanks for watching, guys.